Hi, everybody, and welcome to Living Language. This is podcast number 10.
10. Yes.
So season 1, just as a reminder, we're going to be going 12 episodes, take a little break, and then move on to season 2. But this is a really exciting episode because we get to eat some delicious food.
So welcome back, family. You guys can see this is probably one of our well, it's going to be one of my favorites. I think a lot of people's favorites because you can see in front of us is the different foods that we're going to talk about, right? From different countries. And
Yeah.
all right.
We wanted to pick things that weren't super obvious, right? Like I think ube is definitely making, having its moment right now. A lot of people know about it. And, let's say baklava, things like that. We wanted to kind of steer off sort of what a lot of people would know about and introduce you guys and even ourselves to a few things that we've never had. So I'm super excited to introduce you to the foods and then also give a little bit of history and background into how they came to be and how they became a staple in their respective cultures.
Okay, yeah, we're going to start off. What are we going to start off with?
So first we're going to do, and neither of us drink coffee, FYI, but we're going to start off with Vietnamese egg coffee.
Vietnamese egg coffee.
So it's a dark roast or an espresso
Yeah, I see that.
that you whip up egg yolks with sweetened condensed milk, a little bit of sugar and vanilla, and then you sprinkle some cinnamon on top.
Yeah, I can smell the cinnamon. It's reminding me of like a milkshake.
It smells delicious.
As a coffee drinker, I can smell the coffee too.
You ready?
So,
cheers.
okay.
Oh, this is actually really good. This is delicious. I don't even like coffee, and this is very sweet and yummy.
There's like a light taste to it. So I know for some of the coffee drinkers out there that I've talked to or known in the past, they like that dark, just black coffee, that dark, strong black coffee. Like I said, we're not coffee drinkers, but if we did, this more of the light. This has a very sweet and creamy.
To be fair, I made this at home because there are a few places here where we live in San Antonio that offer Vietnamese egg coffee, but they're all pretty far away. And so I looked it up to see if I could make it here at home, and I could. So I made this actually at home. We didn't have dark roast or espresso, so I did use medium roast.
Oh, okay.
So for people that don't like something that's as strong, this could be a way that you could make this with a less robust coffee.
So I wonder, do they drink this while they're eating their meal, or is this more? To me, it's more like a after meal maybe, or it's a dessert. I don't know.
I think it's probably like us, right? They may just drink it in the morning. They may drink it, in the evening.
Okay.
But to give a little background, so egg coffee was created in Hanoi in 1946, which is kind of crazy because that's your mom's birth year. 80 years ago. By a bartender actually named Nguyen Van Giang.
Okay.
And he worked at the Sofitel Legend Metropole Hotel.
Okay.
In Vietnam. And at that time, they were at war. They didn't have a lot of milk around. So he was trying to figure out, okay, what do we have that we could, make this coffee with? And so he whipped egg yolks and sweetened condensed milk. A little bit of sugar, and he was able to get that sort of foamy, creamy texture like milk.
Nice.
And so it really came out of scarcity, which is kind of cool.
I know I was a little hesitant at first, and we were talking about
this
it.
Is very good. This is actually something I could drink.
Really good, really good.
So the drink paired with this custardy foam has a strong Vietnamese robust coffee, which we talked about. Again, we used medium roast because that's what we had. And it was introduced to Vietnam in the late 1800s, so the original version of the coffee with milk. And then, like I said, in the 1940s, that's when they had to kind of makeshift this version, and it stuck.
Yeah. What's so cool is, I don't know where everyone lives or our audience where they live, but like I noticed here, in San Antonio, driving certain places, I see these Vietnamese coffee shops coming up, pastries, and now I know this is something that probably is a great seller for the company. So,
and I think a lot of people obviously know about like boba and different things like that, Thai tea, but this is something that I think you guys should definitely add to your repertoire.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Definitely try this out.
And
Really good.
it's culturally an example of when you have a scarcity that you can turn, sort of like a happy accident. You can turn something that's bad, like lemons, into lemonade, so
Yeah,
to speak.
yeah. This almost kind of like what the history of with this coffee. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
So the next one, we were kind of having some problems figuring out what we wanted to do. We settled on something that neither of us have ever tried. It's called koshary. It's an Egyptian staple, sort of like a street food. So I'll show you kind of what it looks like. There's a lot of grains in here. So we have rice, you have noodles, you have lentils, chickpeas, onions, and like a vinegary tomato sauce.
Okay.
And it's sort of considered Egypt's national street food now.
Street food. Okay.
So you
Mine
wanna
seems like
try
there's
it?
more noodles in yours. You have more rice and
Well, I
just to mix it up. Okay.
Yeah, just mix it up.
So we're just gonna mix it up and try
So
it.
we actually got this for anyone that is in the local San Antonio area from a place called Luxor. It's located at the Rim near La Cantera, and they have been there for 5 years. So highly recommend. The staff was so friendly. They are so sweet. The inside of Luxor is beautifully designed, and they also have a hookah lounge. So when we went yesterday to get this plate, which we warmed up for today, we haven't tried it yet. There was a guy outside working and just smoking hookah. So it's just like a cool
yeah.
vibe.
It's just a nice vibe. And
Yeah.
like I said, the decorations was beautiful. So.
Okay, let's
You
do
ready
it.
to try it?
Yes, sir. This is definitely something I would eat on a regular basis.
I like the chickpeas. You could taste the spices. The texture is really good.
It is. It has a lot of flavor too. So the way
onions.
she packaged it up for us, there was like the main dish. It had separate spaghetti sauce or like tomato sauce. And then it had 2 little containers, which I put the less hot one, the more mild sauce, because neither here I eat like super spicy food, but they also had a spicier option. So she was saying kind of put a little bit of both. I put a tiny bit of the more spicy option and a little bit of the less spicy option. I think that's what's giving that really rich flavor.
Yeah.
It's very delicious.
Yeah.
And then you have the texture from the lentils and the
Yes.
chickpeas. This is delicious.
It's kind of funny they say this is street food, but you know this something that like when we went to that restaurant, it could be kind of their signature dish. But
Right.
yeah, this is delicious. I know that's one of our bucket lists to go to Egypt and visit and try and see that culture. And definitely, like I said, if
This is a good option too for like vegans
yeah.
because there's no meat. So you have a lot of protein from like the lentils and the chickpeas.
very light.
It's
Very
I
light.
think it's fulfilling because of the carbs,
Yeah.
but I guess for you, like you like to pair a protein like a meat with all of your meals. So
Yeah.
you could even pair it with something. Oh, you could pair it with like kebabs. That would
Okay.
be delicious.
Chicken kebabs.
Or any meat.
Yeah.
So just to give you guys a little bit of history, like I said, this is now considered Egypt's national street food. It's sort of built as like a bowl, right? So you have your lentils, your macaroni, which in this case they used spaghetti noodles, chickpeas, fried onions, vinegary tomato sauce, and it's literally sold everywhere, like on the streets in Cairo and across Egypt, which is pretty cool. So the history is sort of unknown. Some people think it was brought to Egypt by British colonial troops in the 19th century. And then the Egyptians kind of added their own flair by putting, pasta and tomato sauce, which would be influenced by the Italians. So that's kind of one version of the story. Another one said along those lines in the 1850s, there was a travel account by a British explorer whose name is Richard Burton, and he describes a similar dish. So he knew of it from the 1850s traveling to Egypt. So who actually knows where it actually came from? More recent Egyptian food historians, which I had no idea that was a thing, and I think that would be a super cool job to be a food historian. But they argue that koshary existed in Egypt long before British rule. And they see the modern dish as an evolution of an older Egyptian grain and lentil meal. And I could see as this being like a little more of an affordable meal, something
Yeah.
that, you could make and fill everyone's tummies.
Yeah.
And again, kind of what we talked about with the Vietnamese coffee, just
Right.
making a meal work when there aren't a lot
And
of
I'm sure
options.
this is probably one of the, like a family favorite, right? When you have family gatherings. You
Yeah.
know, I could see this as a la carte, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
And just a family sharing this meal. So
I definitely want one more bite before we move on to dessert.
pretty
Very
good. I was a little hesitant at first, I'm not gonna lie, but
Does it remind you of anything like from your culture or?
so I mean, just what the taste that I got, like the tomato paste, the chickpeas, you
It's
know,
so good.
with that dish, ours is kind of different with tomato paste and chickpeas. I think my mother used to cook, you know, with chickpeas and tomato paste, but she would add chicken, potatoes, and peas, right?
Okay.
I think it's either menudo, like a menudo kind of meal. So
A little bit, yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Okay. So for
Next.
dessert, next. We'll eat the rest later when you
Ooh,
guys aren't watching
I
us
see
stuff our
these
faces.
already. I see this one. Okay.
Okay. So Dexter knows what these are. Do you want to talk about it? a
Yeah.
little bit?
So these. I guess what we decided to do for the dessert is a Filipino dessert called Hopia, and usually, I mean, it's originally came from China. So kind of I'll tell you a quick story as you know, my mother, which she's in the audience today watching us.
We have an
You
audience
know, we have an
today.
audience today. So this just reminds me of, we used to come home from school and my mother would be baking fresh hopia. And you could, so once you come in, you smell it. I just remember of you, I came home, you know, I was, I think elementary age, and my mom was baking some hopia, and I just remember the sight of, I think, you see on the top, it's an egg yolk. And I remember coming into the kitchen and I see her brushing the hopia with egg yolk.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're so excited to just eat because you're coming home from school and you're starving, right?
Right.
So she's
It's
like,
like your
wait, you gotta
mid-afternoon
wait.
snack.
Yeah, you gotta wait. And, you know, because it's still hot. But inside, I guess you have you got different, you know, options, right? So they got something called hopia baboy, which it's like a pork-based.
Oh, so you could do like a
You can
savory
pork
option.
savory option with some onions in it. There's now, I think we got two today. We got one with mungo beans and ube, which ube is kind of making
Yeah.
its world tour. Everybody's kind of getting into the ube trend. So
I saw that Starbucks has an ube drink. now.
yeah, ube is big now, right? And before it's just like I said, what is ube? It's a purple yam, but
Yep.
this is the Filipino, you know, one of the Filipino desserts that, like I said, brings it back to my childhood memories. So
I've never tried it. This is going to be my
It's
first
your
time
that's
trying
right.
it, so I'm excited.
So I think we're just gonna try it now and
Yeah.
see which one. I don't know
forget
which
which
is
is which. I do have them separated, but I think this one for me is the ube because it looks a little darker
So
on the
a
inside.
little secret. If you turn the hopia upside down, you probably could see some kind of the filling coming out. So like this one shows like a little purple coming out.
This is
That's
the
probably
mungo
the
bean.
mungo bean.
Yeah.
Mungo bean. So I'll try the ube and then you try the mungo bean.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It's good.
When you first bite into it, I mean, you could see the texture, right, of the ube. It's kind of, you know, some people that tried it, and I kind of asked people before that never tried it before, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. Like, you bite into it, you may have that kind of a chalky texture at first.
It kind of reminds me of like an English like tea cookie, or I'm trying to remember. It's something that it's very breaded, but it's not super thick.
Yeah.
Chalky is a good description.
Yeah. What I like about ube is, well, I mean, in this dessert for particular, like you said, you bite into it, it starts like a chalky, breaded taste, but as you're chewing and biting, you'll start to see it turns
Get the
into a
flavor.
creamy flavor, and it starts into a cream. Is it the same thing with the mungo bean?
It's really good.
Okay. What do you think about that one?
It's delicious.
Okay.
And it's light. It's not, I mean, it's obviously breaded, but I mean, in the sense of like, it's not super sweet.
Yeah.
So if you're a person that doesn't like really, really sweet desserts, this would be a really good
Yeah,
option.
and I think too, there's an option of, you know, and I'm gonna look at mother in the audience. There's a red bean mungo too, right? Red bean option. I think, in my opinion, I think this is what the yellow bean. So that one is more sweeter, I think.
Okay.
And the red bean is as sweet, but not I don't think as sweet as the
Okay.
so usually my favorite is like the ube and this yellow bean.
So for the audience again in San Antonio and even like in your local areas, just implore you guys to go out, look for a Filipino restaurant. We have a couple here that we just love. They're so sweet.
Yeah.
And they run and own the Sari Sari Filipino store here in San Antonio.
We picked this up from the Sari
that's where we
Sari
got it.
store. And you had the opportunity to go visit that establishment. You will not. I'm telling you, it's 100%.
Oh, yeah. They treat you
everything
like
in there
family.
is just from the moment you walk in to grabbing certain groceries if you need, or just eating in the restaurant. You're gonna leave there just full and fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
So.
The portions are big. The food is great.
Yeah, great.
The desserts are amazing.
Great family.
Don't they have what's the ice cream that has like a bunch of stuff on it?
Oh yeah, the hollow.
Hollow,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
your nieces were just in town last week,
Yeah.
and your mom took them over there, and
Yeah.
they sent us a picture of their hollow full of all the things.
yeah. That's another dessert we'll try next time.
So, Dex mentioned that Hopia is a Filipino/Chinese pastry. It has roots in southern China, and it was brought by immigrants to the Philippines in the early 1900s. So it's been around a lot. It actually translates to good pastry, and it's closely related to the Chinese mooncake, which I've never tried that. So definitely want to try that as well. So they're just filled pastries that are eaten typically around their mid-autumn festival, which makes sense. This makes sense for like an autumn food.
Yeah.
So early versions in Manila used simple bean fillings. Oh yeah, you just said green or red beans. And it was wrapped in basic wheat dough. Yeah. And then they were sold as sort of an affordable version to the Chinese mooncakes. Over time, Filipino Chinese bakers in neighborhoods, they adapted the recipe to Filipino tastes. They baked them in bugong ovens, which, can you explain what a bugong oven is?
I don't.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what? I've never.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is between that kind of oven and like what we would use, but and they experimented with fillings like winter melon and, like you said, pork fat, baboy.
Hopiang baboy.
Hopiang baboy. In the late 20th century, bakeries such as Ang Bitin, is that how you would pronounce it? Popularized the ube version. And because at the time, ube had the best-selling ice cream, so they thought that flavor would be good inside of the Hopia.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how ube came to be a part of this dessert, which I think is pretty cool. So it's essentially a migration pastry, which is amazing. I mean, a lot of our food is migration food, like pizza and a lot of the Italian food, and I mean, so many things that we could think of. But
it's so cool to see how it originated from one country and then adopted by another country, and then just kind of made it their own, and kind of that melting pot. So it's pretty cool to see that. I'm sure there, like you said, as we talked about these different foods from different parts of the world, it's amazing to see.
So let's rate it 1 to 10.
Okay.
Let's start with the coffee. What would you rate it?
Ooh,
Granted that we're not coffee drinkers, but
as a non-coffee drinker, I could see myself drinking this again.
Same.
I would rate this as an 8 for me.
I was gonna say 8.5.
Okay, that was actually my first.
Yeah,
I said 8. Okay,
it's really, really good. And the egg yolk, you would think it has a weird taste, but mixed with the condensed milk, it gives it that creamy. It's really delicious. Highly recommend.
Highly recommend it.
And I'm sure if you get it at an actual
coffee shop,
it's gonna be so much better than how we made it here today.
I agree. I agree.
Okay, what about the koshary?
The koshary I liked. Like I said, I was a little hesitant at first. Me, like I said, I like to see meat. I like meat, I like more protein. But after tasting it and it fulfilled, the taste. So I'll give it an 8.5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give this one a 9.5.
Nice.
This is delicious. This is absolutely something that I could see like meal prepping and using throughout the week with like a protein.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. definitely.
Okay, so what about the hopia?
So the dessert?
That's kind of unfair.
I mean, yeah, because I grew
know,
up on it, but like I
yeah.
said, if it was warmed up and it's just coming fresh, that would have given a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
But you know, this, like I said, this is always, I'm going to give it a 9.5. Right?
Yeah, I
So
think
that's
I'll give
always
it a
one
9.
of my favorite desserts.
It's
So
really good.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we hope to hear from you guys. Are there any foods that you really love that aren't maybe super well known? Or have you tried any of these foods? What do you think?
Yeah.
Also, we just want to encourage you guys, go out in your neighborhoods, wherever it is that you may live, and try some of these things, try some different foods. I know it's hard. We kind of get into the rut of like, you go to the restaurant, you know what you like, but try to branch out. And then, you know, in addition, I'm just going to challenge you guys to then learn a little bit about the history of the food, because it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, so this is probably going to be first of many. You know, like we talked about with our our program manager. You know, he kind of came up with this concept, and there's probably other things that we want to do as well.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Awesome.
enjoy. Hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Everyone stay safe. So,
Yep. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Get it. Go.
Bye.